Hat Trick Hockey is brought to you in part by Eric Stendel, Remax Capital Diamond Realty, servicing Windsor, Lakeshore, Tecumseh, LaSalle, and Essex County. As a third generation realtor with a decade long track record of multi million dollar production, Eric Stendel brings a wealth of experience to the table. With specialties in residential resales, investment properties, and new construction sales, Eric Stendel tailors his approach to meet the unique needs of his clients, from first time buyers to seasoned investors. Contact Eric Stendel, Remax Capital Diamond Realty today for all your real estate needs. Call or text 226 345 9199 or visit his website, ericstendel.com. That's ERICSTANDEL.com. If he's got 99 in his number, shouldn't that tell you something? Contact Eric Stendel today. What is going on, all you beauts and beauties? Welcome to episode 174 of the Hat Trick Hockey Podcast, brought to you, as always, by GL Heritage, the official brewery beer of Hat Trick Hockey. I am your host, Brett Hedges, joined, as always, by the creator of the Hat Trick Hockey Podcast, rocking dark-ass sunglasses, a all-red Detroit Tigers hat.
Let's fucking go, baby.
And what is that? Is that a
All
commemorative
right.
Hat Trick Hockey
So,
Podcast chain? Why on earth would someone have something like
okay.
that?
So, quick little backstory. So, our show is now the league, well, one of the league fucking sponsorships in Harrow on Sunday afternoons.
Yep,
And
you're talking about the Harrow Rec Hockey
last week
League.
we played our first game. We lost
Yep.
6-2. Shout out to the Green Squad. Played a great game. Charlie
Yep.
Bondi got a hat trick on us. Fuck you, Charlie.
Yep.
Um,
Made me
and
look
this
stupid a
week we
couple
got our
times.
first win. So we got our first win in franchise history today. So
Woo!
so we're just loving the win. That's all.
Absolutely.
I'm just messing around, everybody. Okay. So but it is our first win. We're
So,
extremely happy about it. But yeah, so this is
yeah.
our chain. We got every team has one in our league. So we give it out to player of the game. So the fellas gave it here because it was the first win in franchise history. So the fellas gave it to me. So
Because you had five Genos too, but that's besides the point. If we
yeah,
get
but
more about
it's
that, it's a
we're
whole
all
other
about the team
podcast.
here. We're all about the team. So it was a team win. Boys got to win today. So first one. So yeah, that's
Perfect.
it.
For all of our folks out there, if you
Yeah,
like the merch that Anthony or
bam.
I are wearing, make sure to hit the link and catch us in the merchandise
Yeah.
store. If you have something specific that you don't see on the store, give us a message, see if maybe we can include it in some of our future
Yes.
options. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe and
Smash it.
get those follows up for that. That is an exciting thing. And
Smash
if
it.
you haven't been to our channel yet, make sure you check out the interview with Darren McCarty a couple episodes ago. Probably a landmark
Yeah.
episode for the
Ridiculous.
group today. Humongously backed up show. We haven't been able to
Yeah.
record in a couple of weeks. That's mostly my fault, so I apologize for everybody there. But for the it's been an absolutely crazy 4 weeks,
It's
right? Because
that's an understatement,
yeah,
I think.
so do you want to just do we want
Where do we
to kind of
start?
just yeah,
Where
basically
do you want to start?
yeah, so I was on
Johnny
vacation at
Hockey?
the end of August, yeah,
Yeah.
and when we heard the news that Johnny Gaudreau and his
Oh.
brother Matthew unfortunately were killed in a an accident where a drunk
Yeah.
driver hit them while they were on a
Fuck.
bike trip in New Jersey. Their sister was getting married the next day. It looked like
Mm.
they were blowing off some steam, just having a bike ride as two brothers would, and unfortunately, they were hit by someone who was later detained and charged with impaired driving of some sort. That case will probably take years to go through the
Yeah.
courts, but the sad part is that we didn't get a chance to talk about it right off the hop, but it has given us a chance to like maybe talk about the impact and some of the good things that have come from this, if you can kind of call it that, and
Yeah.
just give us your reaction to when it happened and kind of like what you've seen in the community since then.
Well, first off, I was just on Facebook and I had seen it wasn't even a news story or anything that I had seen. It was someone's comment. and someone had said that there was an accident, and they had mentioned that it was Johnny Hockey. And
Hmm.
so right away I had Googled it because obviously, right, like I'm not just going to believe someone's comments.
Yeah.
So, and knowing that our good friend Lee Harris is on staff, but I didn't want to bug Lee because if it's true, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, he's super
it's
close to everything.
yes, I don't want, like, I don't even want to get involved. Like, I don't want to bug Lee. And so I looked it up and sure as shit, man, it was true. So what had happened was they were at their sister's, it was the rehearsal dinner, I believe they were at,
Yeah, that would
and
make sense.
Matthew and Johnny had jumped on their bikes and they were riding their bikes. So probably doing the responsible thing because I'm assuming that they probably had a couple drinks there and stuff like that. So they're doing
Yeah.
the responsible thing and riding their bikes and not driving and this and that. And so a car is going by them and respects them and kind of goes out into the middle of the road. So the car was giving them the room, essentially, is what the car was doing. So it was out in the middle of the road. Well, this
Okay.
asshole decided that it was a good idea to pass that car on the right hand side.
No
So
way.
when they went on the right hand side, so essentially that car was driving on the shoulder of the road. So
Mm,
when they went through, and he went through like, fuck, I hate to say this, he went through fast enough and hard enough to where Johnny and Matthew were pronounced dead at the scene.
yeah.
That's how bad it was. So how fast was this guy driving? Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking that that is even a
Option.
good maneuver?
Yeah.
That is a horrible piece of driving. Why, since when do you ever in the history of driving do you pass on the fucking right hand side?
Yeah.
Besides on a single lane road.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you just don't. And like,
Yeah.
you tell me he didn't see these two guys on bikes? Like, come on, man. Now you just fucking took two guys away from their families that have kids on the way, that their sister's getting married. Like, it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
The more we hear about it, it's getting worse. And this asshole sits in court and talks to the judge. I don't mean to swear as much, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm trying to dial it down normally in episodes, but this calls for it.
Yeah. It's a touchy
And
situation, man.
for a guy to make that maneuver and then to sit in court in front of the judge and be, oh, I have to, I'm in here until Thursday. There's a special place in hell for you, and
Yeah.
my honest opinion. And I hope that guy fucking rots in jail. That's just, I'm just being honest, and I know it's very blatant forward, but it's just how I feel. You took two guys away from their families. You like there's these guys are going to have eternal pain the rest of their lives because you made a stupid decision driving.
Yeah.
And you're hammered. Hammered. You shouldn't even been behind the wheel in the
Yeah.
first place.
I didn't hear what the blood alcohol level
It was
was or
like
if they were
it was high. It was high.
too much.
It was way too high. It wasn't legal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So
One too many is far too many.
fucking
And
horrible, dude. Completely
yeah.
horrible. So I want to we want to extend our like sorries to one his family,
Yeah.
the Columbus organization, our friend Lee Harris, just everybody. Like we're sorry. Like this shouldn't even happen. It's not even right. It's not even fair.
It's a tragedy in almost every sense of the word. Like you heard it, you said it, like for all the details that you get out of it, it just becomes more and more upsetting, right? You find out
Mm.
that their sister's getting married the next day.
It's
You find
horrible.
out that his wife is pregnant with their
Oh.
I believe their second child or third
What
child.
she I believe it's their third, what she announced during his eulogy, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah. And that's yeah, that's
Horrible.
it's brutal. It's rough. I guess the only good thing you can take from this is the response from everyone around the
Yeah.
league. Like
Yeah.
everyone has, for lack of a better term, like kind of like raised the torch together
Yeah.
in his honor. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed the ceremonial, sorry, like the little shrines basically that
Yeah.
people. in Calgary.
Mhm.
They put a lot of Johnny Hockey stuff out
Yeah.
at the Saddle Dome. Obviously, in Columbus, they mourned his death too. That's a big
Mhm.
loss for the organization because
Fucking.
for for all intents and purposes, he was the star of that
Yeah.
team. Like
Yeah.
he's one of the premier players in the league, at least at one time, and he was absolutely a guy who you would go and buy a ticket to go watch,
100%.
right? And
Mhm.
it's just a big blow for hockey.
It
It's
should
just a
it
big
it
blow
it
for
shouldn't
hockey.
have happened. That's the
No.
problem. It shouldn't have happened.
Hmm.
And that's what drives me nuts about it. But
And of course, we don't want to forget his brother Matthew as well. He
yes,
was
for
also
sure.
a pro player as well, not in the NHL, but he was I believe he was playing in Europe.
I believe
And
he was in the Islanders or organization. He was in
pardon
the
me.
AHL, I believe.
All right, but so
Yeah.
yeah, like we don't want to forget his name
Matthew
too. So
either. Both of
yeah,
them.
Johnny and Matthew,
Mhm.
the entire Columbus organization, Calgary Flames too. Our
Islanders,
condolences go out
everybody.
to you guys.
Love you
Yeah,
guys.
it's
Mhm.
very rough, and
Crazy.
obviously he's all of the ceremonies and the
Mhm.
eulogies and the
Yeah.
funeral and everything have already been done, but it still sucks.
I
It's
still
almost been a
can't believe it.
month.
I
Yeah,
still can't
it's
believe it.
basically almost been a month since that happened, and it sucks, man.
Mhm.
And or one day, hopefully one day we can go and take a trip to Columbus to go see a game because I want to
We're
see what
going.
they have
We're
lined
going.
up in memorial to him too. Because I believe
Mhm.
what I read they were going to do a decal on the helmet, and I
Sweet.
believe they're going to do a patch on the jersey as well.
Awesome.
Can't remember if that's exactly true. I'll confirm
Yeah.
that the next time, but they're at least doing the helmet decal. I believe
Mhm.
that they're going to have a JH or J. I'm not sure if it's going to be JH for Johnny Hockey or Johnny Gaudreau, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, the Wings are there January 2nd, so just throwing that out there.
circle it, baby.
Just saying.
'Cause- Yeah, a lot of other not to our respects to Johnny
Yeah.
Gaudreau and Matthew
Love you.
Gaudreau. Love you guys.
Mhm.
Rest in peace to the whole family. Very, very sad news.
Mhm.
We bridge from that to some significant signings that we saw in the
Yeah.
NHL in the
Yep.
last couple of
Yep.
weeks, mainly for the Detroit Red Wings. Do you want to talk about Sid the Kid or the Detroit Kids?
Let's go Sid first.
Okay, so Sid Crosby signs for a 2 year extension. He's going to get 8.7 mil per year because, of course, he's Sidney Crosby.
Did
Everything's
you
got to do
did
with
you know that that's
87.
what he's made his whole career?
Yeah, I didn't know it was his whole career, but
8.7 his whole career. Do you know when his birthday is?
I believe
87,
it's
87.
eight seven
Yeah, like,
eight.
come on. The guy is a mental midget. Okay. And I mean this in the best way possible. He is a true leader.
Yeah,
He, no matter what you say about him, I hated the guy, but I learned to love him.
yeah,
And he is just the what you would he's your cap, he's your guy. He's the face of your franchise. He gets it. He's all about winning. All he wants to do is win. Everybody, oh,
hmm,
you could take $12 million, Sid. I don't give a shit. I want my 8.7 like I've been doing my whole career, and I want to win Stanley Cups.
yeah.
Hey, I bet you there's 4 or 5 guys on the Leafs, or that maybe you should fucking take notes here and maybe look at that guy over there who's okay. There's a couple players over there that are maybe better than him right now, but I'm just saying
The
when it comes
example.
when it comes to leadership,
Hmm.
okay? Did Matthews take that cut?
Nope,
Did Marner take that cut?
no sir.
That's what I mean. None of these fucking guys are taking that cut. I'm swearing a lot this episode. I'm sorry, guys.
Just
But
letting it
I'm letting
fly.
it fly. I'm kind of pissed off tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
okay.
but it's just like imagine all those guys on the Leafs took, let's say, 1 million to 1.5 million less.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of
Look
like
how
the
much cap space
situation.
that opens up. That's
Hmm.
like between $5 and $6 million.
That's a great second
It
line
could get
player.
you it could get you a second line player. It could get you a number one goalie. It could get you like there's so many things. You could get 2 defensemen for that. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many different things that you could get if they just shaved a little bit off of their salaries, but
Yeah,
they won't. And it drives me like okay, like my in-laws and I have some good friends and everybody that are like Leaf fans, and I want to see them win. The hockey
yeah.
needs to see these guys win. Okay. as much as it fucking pains me to say that. But I'm just saying,
Tell
like,
us how you really feel.
yeah, but like okay, here's the thing with Toronto. They can score with the best of them.
Yes.
They have all the firepower in the world. All
Yep.
the moves that they made on their blue line this year, I think are great moves. They really helped out their blue line. Before it was only Riley there. Now, like they got Tanev, they got OEL. Like, you know what I mean? They still like
Yeah.
now they made some nice moves. Yeah, they're older guys, but they're gonna get you like a year or two in like good seasons. So
Yeah,
like
they
why
may have overpaid for OEL, but
I
that might be about
at
it.
at
Like,
this point you don't really have much of a choice though,
yes,
right?
exactly.
So but I mean a little bit of an overpayment on him. I don't think his contract's super long, is it?
I think he got 2 years.
Okay,
Two
well, that's
years,
nothing. Whatever.
4.5
It's two
each, I
years.
believe.
2 years, whatever. You're gonna get 2 solid years out of him. So to me, that's worth it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They
That
should
would
have went
just be
after
like
a
the one
goaltender.
signing that they might have, maybe been able to shave a little bit less because he is maybe a second or third pair defenseman, but he just
Mhm.
came from winning the cup, man. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
pay for those players.
he
So
knows what it takes.
yes.
But I don't know. I would just like to see them go after a goalie. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that would have been the more satisfying answer, I think, for a lot of Leaf fans, because they want to see a genuine number one goaltender in with the Leafs.
Mhm.
They want a Felix Potvin, they
Yeah.
want a Curtis Joseph, they want an Ed Belfour,
Mhm.
and for the longest time, they haven't had it. They just haven't.
But
Like, I look back at James Reimer and like
yeah,
Jonathan Bernier when they
yeah.
played back to back. No one knew who the starter was.
To
Like,
me,
and
oh yeah. Oh fuck. When was
right?
the last time Toronto had a like a goalie when they had a goalie where you were like, damn, like that, like this could be like a run. Like when's the last time you really thought about that about a Toronto goaltender?
Probably Ed Belfour, but that was like kind of like in the twilight of his career kind of thing where he
So that
like
was
where
what,
he
late 90s, early
90s,
2000s?
early 2000s. Like I
Okay.
might be thinking of, some different guys. Like they got guys that played over their head sometimes. Like James
Mhm.
Reimer really played
Yeah.
really well for
Yeah,
them
he
when he
did.
was younger.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like I think that Leafs fans want to see a genuine number one goaltender either develop or come via
Mhm.
free agency. And I don't know whether it's the league, I mean not the league, the team that's not being able
Mhm.
to just pull the trigger on these kind of players. If it's not that the top free
Yeah.
agent goalies or whatever don't want to go to
So
Toronto or their agents are telling them not to go.
let
I don't
me
know.
let me ask you something. If things aren't going the way that they exactly wanted to when it comes to near the trade deadline, do you make a trade for a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury, who's in his last year that wants a last kick at the can type deal?
Ooh,
So
the
here's the thing.
flower in Toronto, I love it.
I said 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago at the trade deadline, that Toronto should have grabbed him when
Yes.
before he went to Minnesota. I said it was the perfect timing. I said the Leafs need to grab this guy. I know he's on the back nine, but he's better than anything that you have.
Yes.
Okay. And he would have come like somewhat cheap.
Yeah, cheaper than one would
Yeah.
expect
Pay a
anyway.
backup $1 million and pay Flower fucking 4.5,
Or
5,
yeah.
and you know what I mean? And call it a day.
Just to clarify on the Oliver Ekman Larson contract, it's a 4-year deal worth 14 million.
Oh, well, that's not, it's about 3 to 4 a year, roughly between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
It's not
Annual salary
horrible.
hit of 3.5.
Yeah. It's not
So that's
bad.
not that bad.
It's not
He got a
horrible.
$7 million signing bonus too.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Well,
Yes.
but
So I just
whatever.
wanted to clarify because
Yeah.
2 years didn't sound right to me. So it's
Yeah.
4 years and 15.
So we doubled it. But still, but I don't mind that signing.
Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
mind it.
No, it's not too bad.
He's better
No,
than what they had.
I thought it was closer to 5. I thought it was over 4. So his cap it's only gonna be 3.5. That's pretty manageable.
But
Hopefully
anyways,
he plays well for them.
let's get back to these Red Wing signings now that we're
Absolutely.
fucking
We
went
went from
down.
Sidney
So
Crosby
yeah, we
to
went from
Anthony just
Crosby, but
absolutely hates
anyways,
the Toronto Maple
yeah,
Leafs. And
Crosby,
now
we
we're
all
gonna
know how we feel on that. Great deal when it comes to the Pens, okay? But so the Red Wings, I'm assuming that you're referring to Cider and Raymond, obviously. Have you ever
Yeah,
heard of
and
them? You ever heard of them?
yeah.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this signing news to happen. Basically, well, we've been talking about since before
When I
Labor
was
Day
shitting my
weekend.
pants after we golfed, and D Mac was telling me don't fucking worry about it and this and that, and I was losing my shit because we hadn't signed him yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. We talked about how key he was going to be for the future,
yeah,
and he got the contract that I feel like he deserves. He got 8 by 8, $8 million for 8 years.
it's a
I think
perfect
that's
deal,
pretty fair
great deal,
trade.
great deal.
Um, and let's talk about Raymond first, and then we'll move into Mo because those are two different
hmm
conversations about the
So
future of the team.
everybody's always like, "Oh well, you're gonna give a guy $8 million when he's fucking playing the league for 2 years." Like, okay, well, first off, do you watch this guy every game? One, no, you don't. Two, he's taken huge steps into becoming an all-around NHL player.
Last two
Um,
years, yes,
yes,
huge
huge
steps.
steps. He's a sniper. This guy's gonna come in. He's gonna put up. I think he's gonna put up between 30 and 40 this year.
Yeah,
And he's going to come in. He's going to be a 30-40 goal guy. He's going to be a 80-90 point guy. And he's going to play power play. He's going to snipe. He's going to everything. This is the guy that we need to, this is our future. This is a
yeah.
cornerstone of our franchise is this guy. We needed to lock him in. We got it done. To me, that is a team friendly deal. It's a great deal for both sides, in my honest opinion. He's like he could have I like depending on the team, I bet you he could have got that 9 mil maybe on certain teams, but why
I
though? Why?
agree.
And everybody, oh, he's gonna get offer sheeted. Dude. Do you actually think somebody is gonna offer sheet Steve Eiserman?
Yeah, they're gonna play poker with him. I don't think so.
No, you don't.
The the thing that I was gonna say is that the Red Wings bought Raymond at what he's priced at right now.
Yeah.
Imagine what he could be worth in 3, 4
Yeah.
years, right? So that's the smart play. That's why they went for the 8 year deal,
Mm.
was because, hey, if they had said, okay, we're going to sign a 3 year extension or four,
Yeah.
or whatever they are
Don't
allowed to
no, a
do.
guy like that you can't sign on a bridge deal.
No, exactly,
Yeah.
because the league is going to catch up to what you
Yeah.
know about him, and they are
Exactly.
going to pick up that money,
Yeah,
right?
and then yeah,
Those bigger
exactly.
centers are going to bring that money. They're going to bring 10 and a half, maybe
Yeah.
11
And
mil,
then what?
because he
Halfway
is going
through
to get past that point one day.
100%. And then what? Halfway through that deal when you could have had him sign 8, but you only had him sign 4, and then now you got to sign him for 10, 11 million instead of like, you know what I mean? When you could have had him at 8 years at 8.
Yeah,
So to me it's a great deal for everybody all around. So I love
you're
it.
locking up one of the best young players in the league for essentially what will be his whole prime.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? So
100%.
that's an absolute, like, I'm not sure what his age is, but I know that he's a full NHL player. He's got to be, 25 years old or something like that.
I don't even think
And
he's
so
that.
exactly, I know. Yeah, so if you lock him up for 8, you're signing him for the glory years of
Yeah.
his career.
You're
So they
signing
had
him
to make
until
it done.
he's in his early 30s.
Yeah, and
It's perfect.
it's huge. And by that time
Beautiful.
he might be, and by that time he might be the captain of your team, man.
Very well could be.
Absolutely.
Or the next
I love
guy we're
Dylan
going to
Larkin
talk
more than
about.
Yeah, I love Dylan Larkin as much as the next guy,
Yeah.
but I don't know how things are going to go in 8 years
Well,
from now.
yeah, yeah, I hear
So,
you. I hear you.
yeah. So really excited about Lucas Raymond, a guy that
Love
you
it.
can put him in every situation, essentially,
Anything.
and he will excel. Like I told you guys the story during the Darren McCarty interview. I took my dad to a game when they watched Nashville,
Hmm.
and he scored a game winner in OT, toe dragged it, wrist shot through the defenseman's legs, rising over the goalie's shoulder,
Yeah.
top Chad, like absolutely stupid.
Worth
And that was
every single penny.
absolutely, and it was almost like one of those situations. Like, remember in Gladiator when Russell Crowe yells at the Emperor, he says, "Are you not entertained?" I was like,
Yeah.
that was worth my money right there, man.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that
fucking
guy
right.
is worth the cheddar, if they say.
For shizzle my nizzle.
Absolutely. Another guy who's worth the cheddar, who I thought that they would get like matching deals. I thought he would also go 8 by 8,
I
is
did think
Moritz
that too.
Seider.
Yeah.
He signs a 7-year deal worth just a little bit more per year than
Was he
Lucas
eight,
Raymond.
8.5 or something like
Eight and a
that?
half, and
Yeah.
Raymond got 8.05. But a really humongous signing as well. And just like I said about Raymond, you're signing up this kid for what should be anyway the prime years of his
Yeah.
career. And absolutely, Detroit needed
Oh.
this signing. They lock up a humongous first pair defenseman for the better part of a decade.
Hmm.
And I love the move, and I'm glad that they made it before training camp started because they can get all that stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Now they can just focus on being a playoff hockey team in the NHL.
100%. When you don't want that shit
Lingering.
hanging over camp and stuff like that, especially when it's a guy like Sider. So you don't really, and Steve Eiserman did a great job on making sure that these guys were signed before they went into camp, just so that way it's not a big thing. You know what I mean? The last
Yeah.
thing Eiserman wants is for something to be a thing. You know what I mean? And he doesn't
Yes.
want that shit. But when you get a guy like Mo Sider and he blows guys up, like, I mean, destroys guys. And let's face it, he's probably going to be on the blue line this year with Simon Edvinsson, who's another giant. These guys are, put it this way, don't cut across the Red Wing line with your head down. Let's put it that way, because
Choo
be
choo.
it'll be in the third row if that happens. So, but I'm saying, but you get a guy like Mo Sider, who's now I think really developed a little more of an offensive game, where before he wasn't really jumping into the play or anything like that, or coming into the slot to take that one timer. Like, he's got a cannon for a shot if the guy
Absolutely.
shoots it right. So, but now he's starting to get that more offensive itch to where he's like jumping into plays and stuff, like I said. So he's gonna be power play. He's gonna be on the penalty kill. He's gonna be a shutdown guy. He's gonna play against all the other team stars. This is a grade A deal, which again, in 4 or 5 years, if this guy only signed a bridge deal, how much is
Hmm.
this guy gonna make? It's gonna be the same thing. He's gonna be another $10 million player. So to me, locking this guy in for another
Seven.
3 years, let's say at 7 million on top of, like, yeah, I know he's 7 at 8 or whatever.
Sorry, set.
But
Yeah. Hmm.
but I mean, you're saving money in the long run signing him on that deal. So, and he's a hell of a player, man. I can't wait to see this guy in 3, 4 years. Like,
Absolutely.
how many Norris trophies do you think this guy's gonna win?
In 4 years or eight
I'm saying in his career. How
in his
many do you think he's
career,
I'm
for
gonna say he's
so
gonna win at least three.
yeah, I think it'll take him a little while to get like the league wide respect. So I think he'll win his first Norris Trophy in 3 years, but he will win like 3 or 4 in his career.
Yeah, I think it could be sooner than that on his first.
You might be right. And
He's
just for the
fucking so
record,
good, man. He's so
he's
good.
solid.
Yeah,
So uh he's only 23 and he's 6'4", he's 205.
yeah,
He's the right-hand shot that you need that that can
right.
like solidify that spot on your top D pair. He's gonna be a free agent in the year 2031.
Yeah. What does every team want? A right shot
Right-hand
defenseman.
defenseman that
So,
can play the body and can jump in the
and
play.
can jump on the play on the power play. What else does other team want? That's what
Eight
every team wants.
8.55. So he
Boom.
was the sixth round pick in 2019, Mo
Yeah.
Sider.
Talk about a diamond in the rough.
Absolutely, German boy.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy for for
Yeah.
them. Career
Absolutely.
rise right now. Oh, last year he had 9 goals, 33 assists for 42 points.
Yeah. I,
Not
I'm
much you can
expecting
ask.
him to be between 50 and 60 points this year, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he's gonna chip in
He's going to make a
probably
little bit of a jump.
15. Yeah, he'll chip in a couple more power play
Yeah,
goals.
for
Maybe
sure.
get around 15. But I don't think he'll have as big of offensive numbers or impact as like Nick Lidstrom did. Like
No,
he seemed like he was in on
he's gonna.
everything,
But here's the
right?
thing: as long as he keeps the puck out of the net, we're good.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not gonna complain about
Yeah,
that. He doesn't say what his plus minus was last year, but that
that's
doesn't really
okay.
matter.
It's Mo Sider.
Um, It's Mo Sider. There were a bunch of other signings in the league, but I feel like we should probably move on to
Yeah.
junior. If
Yeah,
you guys
let's
want to
go.
check out NHL.com or anything,
Yeah.
you'll be able to catch up on all the signings.
We talk
Some
wings
big
and Leafs.
players.
It's pretty well in this area.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to hear about anyway. So
For anyone who loves Tristan and his Dallas Stars, they signed a player as well. I forget. I remember sharing it. I forget.
Tristan, if
I
you were
remember.
here, you could tell us.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
one of their good defensemen. They signed him up, so
Yeah,
we'll definitely break that down next time we get
for
Tristan
sure.
on. The
Yep.
Mike.
100.
Junior hockey.
Yes. Where do we start?
Where you want to start? Junior C, B, or A?
We'll start junior C. We'll
Yeah,
start C and work our way up. 73 is
yeah. We'll
off
see
to a
if we've
great
got room
start.
for those guys down there.
Yeah.
Essex 73s, my friend.
Great
Great
start.
start so far. Good
Started.
offensive showing. Good defense so
Yes.
far. Your thoughts on the first two games, and it's more specifically the home opener.
The home opener went very well.
Yeah.
I was there super early, like filming the boys coming in and stuff like that. Did some stuff for socials, as everybody knows that we work for the team. So
Yep.
we did all that stuff. The boys went out on the ice and it was just they just played 73 hockey, man. It was complete
Hmm.
Tony Prosky style hockey. It was defensive shutdown. And let me see. Carter Dembinski, I believe, had two in the couple in the opener. Piccolo had a couple in the opener. This um this 16-year-old we got.
Yeah, let's talk about Matt Crawford.
My God. He comes
As
into
advertised.
sharp suit, kid just flowing, love it. But his kid's a sniper, man. He's the real deal. But I believe he's OHL drafted, is he not?
Yes, he was a
Peterborough
Peterborough
Petes, I
Pete's.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of
So
the last people to be cut from their roster, so
mhm.
he could,
Let's face it, a
he
year or two, this kid's probably gonna play in the O. But
that's
he's
fair to say.
but
Yeah.
he's the real deal, man. He had a couple goals in the first game, I believe, in a 4-1 victory in
Yep.
Wheatley, I want to say, in the season opener.
Yep.
And just the boys are humming, man. We had our new goalie, I believe his name is Sean Shanahan. He played Tuesday night. He played real well too. He would have had a shutout, but he came out of the net to play a puck and coughed it up and got scored on. So
Ah, bummer. So
love you,
we're
buddy,
yeah,
but let's reel that shit in. So,
yeah.
but anyways, but other than
If
that,
you're
he
a
played.
goaltender,
Yeah, he
tend the
made some
goal.
fantastic saves though. Like this kid's lights out. So
Good.
it was just that one
One
little
mistake.
bleep. That was it. But other than that, he was spectacular.
Absolutely. So just to recap, we had Essex winning 4-1 over Wheatley
Yep.
on their opening game, and then they came back on Tuesday, the September 17th
Yep.
for their home opener,
Yep.
and they beat up Dresden pretty good, 8-1 in
Yep.
that game. Gabe
Yep.
Piccolo with a really nice shorthanded goal. You
Oh,
saw that
beautiful goal.
online.
Dirty.
I believe it was
Dirty.
Power Play Sports that posted that.
Yeah.
Really cool
Shout out
shot.
to Bob.
Yeah, big old Bob Belichico, the
Yeah.
best.
Bob's a beaut.
Um, Bob's always been very good to me
Yeah.
in my
Bob's
I'll always
awesome.
give I love
Shout out to
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, give them a follow. Power Play
Yeah.
Sports. They have a YouTube channel as well. They cover great stuff in Windsor Essex County sports. So,
Yeah.
if it's good, if you see a good clip of something in the county that you wouldn't normally see,
It's Bob.
that's Bob Belichico. That's getting
Yeah.
that. So just so
100%
you
it is.
guys know.
Hit him up.
Um, 8-1, like what else
Yeah.
do you say, right? Everyone was contributing,
Mhm.
Laser got one like we were talking about.
Yeah. I believe we have
And
Blenheim in this week, I believe.
yes, you'll have Blenheim, and then you're going to finish off the month on the road in Moortown, the
Yeah.
Moortown Flags,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can stay 2-0. Hopefully the
Against our
boys
buddy Johnny Chartrand.
Chartran.
Yeah. He's plays net there in Moortown.
Nice.
Fantastic goalie. Good goalie.
Absolutely.
Absolute beauty too.
I used to love, I played, obviously, I grew up in Harrow. We used to play Moortown all the time back in the
Mhm.
day. I used to love going down
Same.
there. I look forward to maybe going to that rink another time. Maybe
Yeah.
if these two teams meet in the playoffs, that would be
Cough,
fun.
cough. Wink,
Yeah,
wink.
Tristan was pretty high on the Moortown Flags when we talked about them in the offseason.
Yeah.
And I posted the question to both of you guys. I said, like, who do you think or who would you like to see maybe make a jump and, kind of challenge Essex and Lakeshore as like the top teams in the league? And Tristan's
Mhm.
vote was Moortown. So,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on them this year.
Yeah,
And
Moortown's good. Blenheim's usually pretty good too.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to
Wheatley
seeing.
too. Like, don't take your eyes off. Even like a team like the Amherstburg Admirals. Okay, so like the Admirals are like they've made some significant moves there that have like really like they've made a big jump, man. Like they're not
Good.
that team. Like you're not gonna walk into freaking Amherstburg and get 2 easy points. Like it's not like Andrew Sykes made some great moves for that franchise. Matty Fox, too, I believe, is one of the owners there. And like those guys made some great moves over the offseason to really speed things up there. That whole, I don't want to say a rebuild, but they're doing shit right there
Yeah,
in
and they
freaking
brought in some
Amherstburg. So
solid players.
they did, man. They brought in Jack Bulmer there from Essex. He went in via trade to play with his brother
Yep.
who just signed there as well. So those two are great players. They've brought players from everywhere, man. I see
Good.
a whole bunch of guys signing in Amherstburg. So shout out to Amherstburg, man. And we see you. We see you.
Yeah,
So they're
good.
definitely making some moves, but that's good though. We want the hockey area where we want the hockey in this area good. So when the Addies are good, when Essex is good, when Lakeshore is always good too. Like, let's face it, Lakeshore, we see you. We ain't sleeping on you. Like
Yeah, we
we
know
would
we know that the
never
Lakeshore
in a
Canadians are the real deal.
million years count you out. Ever, ever, ever. I know better than that. Okay. We're not
Yeah,
counting you out. But I just mean when all these teams are good, man, like
it's good for everybody.
hockey's starting to thrive again in this area, and it's nice.
Yeah, it seems like there's a really strong crop of local players that are staying local too,
Yes.
and they're helping, develop these teams in Junior C that really want to put together solid campaigns and they want to
Mhm.
develop their players to, move on to
Yeah,
whatever the next level is for them, right? So
100%.
I'm excited to see that. Yeah, we definitely got to keep my eye on the Admirals. So we got our three local teams. We got Essex Lakeshore and the Admirals there. Of course, we got Dresden, Moortown, Wheatley.
Wheatley,
Wheatley's
yeah.
pretty far from us, but we're gonna keep an eye on the
Yeah.
Wheatley
Yeah,
Olmsted Sharks too. Love those jerseys.
those jerseys are sick, man.
Love the
Telling you,
Wheatley
you want to get a
jerseys.
good vibe, go to the Shark Tank for one
I
of those
used
games. Good vibe there.
I used to love going out to Wheatley when I was a ref. One because it was like a 40-minute drive from Harrow, and they paid us good to drive there.
Did they?
But I love the rink too. I love that the stands
That
are
yeah.
are higher up.
And that
I know
old
that the
barn
ice has always
feeling.
been good. The ice, as far as I know, every time I went there, the ice was always solid,
Yeah.
and it was always cold too. I remember that rink was cold.
Ethan played there. It was cold as shit last year. I was freezing my dick off in there, man. It was brutal.
Excellent. Well,
But
we're hoping we see
the
some.
ice is always good though. But yeah, man, that I'm telling you, people, if you get the chance, go check out one of the Wheatley home games. It's pretty sweet.
Hey, Wheatley, I take an XL in t-shirts if you want. I'll start repping you guys here on the pod. Because, like you said, good hockey from all these
Man,
four
we're all about
teams
hockey in this area. We're on
is
staff
great
with
for
these
everybody.
guys here, the threes, obviously, but we're all about hockey in this area. So,
Yeah, we want to have fun and we want to share the love. So give us a shout out. And we'll
should
try,
we go up to
I'm gonna
B?
keep my eye on I'm gonna keep my eye on the box scores to see how you
Yeah,
guys are doing. And I really
for
want to
sure.
see who's gonna make the jump this year.
Hmm.
Because before you know it, man, like these teams got to do it now because once Christmas hits, like there's not a lot of time left in the
No.
regular season to get things figured out. So these
Well, you,
guys got to stack up some wins now and pack in the points if they want to get into like a
you
good playoff spot.
you have to figure too, it takes 6 rounds, six
Yes.
series wins to win the Smalts Cup. So it takes a while to win it. So
Beauty.
it's a grind. But let's go up to Junior B here. What do we got?
The Gouge.
The
So
Gouge.
the Gouge. We know that the LaSalle Vipers
Whoa.
have a new head coach, Anthony
Hmm.
Iaquina.
Love that guy.
And I wanted to point this out because I was doing some research and I saw this stat. I think it was the Windsor Star that posted it. Anthony Iaquina had a 192, 38, and 6 record in 7 years with the Lakeshore Canadians. That's an 843 win percentage.
Did that surprise you?
No, it doesn't. And no, what doesn't surprise me is that they've won their first few games to start off the GOJHL season, including a 3-2 win over the London Nationals on opening day. So, from all of us here at the pod, congratulations, Anthony
Yeah,
Iaquinta and the LaSalle
absolutely.
Vipers.
We love
Big
him.
first win in Junior
Mhm.
B for Coach Q.
Coach Q.
And I like what I'm seeing already from the LaSalle Vipers. They've got some really good players. I'll get into their names in a little bit, but give us your thoughts, Ant, on that, and I'll look those up.
Well, Coach Q's a winner. So listen, the guy coached in Lakeshore, what do we say, 7 years?
7 years.
So in 7 years, I believe they won the Stobbs 5 or 6 times. He's a two-time Smalts Cup champion as a coach.
Hmm.
So for for me to him to go up a level and coach junior B, and to be honest with you, I thought his name was going to be in the hat for the Spitfire job, to be honest with you.
We did talk about that.
And I just think that he's just a great all-around coach. He's a player's coach. He knows how to get through to his teams. Like I said before, he's a winner. He knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win. He'll be, like I've said in previous episodes, he'll kick you in the ass, but he's the first one to pat you on the back when you're doing something good too. So Coach Q is he's like LaSalle here. This is a grade A move to move him up to coach junior B. And it kind of makes sense. Same franchise, right? Because they own Lakeshore, they own LaSalle, and they own the
Yeah.
Spits. So it makes sense to move him up. And I will say, and I will call it now, that there will be someday he is going to coach the Spits, and it's going to happen.
Okay. We'll mark it here. We
It's
recorded
going to
this
happen.
on September 22nd on 2024.
It's going to happen. At some point,
I
it's going to happen.
Well, and that's why, I brought it up when we talked about that in the summertime because we talked about, man, like who could they bring in, who could the Spits bring in, on a local level that, could really give them a kick
Mhm.
in the butt. And we thought, but you know what, man, let's go into left field a little bit and let's go down in our own organization and let's go find a guy who knows how to win. And that's
That's
Anthony
right.
Iaquinta, man. And
Higher
so
within.
yeah, exactly. So he even said when he was interviewed by the Star that he could have made the jump to junior B at another time, right before that, but he said
Mhm.
loved the success he was having in
Yeah.
Lakeshore, loved what they were doing there, and the opportunity. He didn't say this specifically, but Chad Shepley starts a family. He steps aside. Perfect person to walk in and take
Mhm.
control of this program, right? These are programs we're talking about, not just
100%.
teams, right? They're
Yep.
looking to develop these guys.
Yep.
And no one better to go to in this area to go than Anthony Iaquinta, the guy
Mhm.
that's just down the hall. Hire him up, and he'll coach him up. And
Exactly.
they started off 3-0 to start off the regular season. They just dropped their first game to St. Mary's on Friday the 20th. So they're
Mhm.
3-1 to start the GOJHL season. It's a 50-game regular season.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw a number out there. I wouldn't be surprised, Ant, if they had like 30 to 32 wins this year with
I
with
was gonna
Coach
say
Q.
30 to 35, but
Okay, so I'll say 30 to 32. You can go 32 to 35.
yeah, I think
Fair?
they'll be right in there. Just like I said, they might hit a little bit of a wobble at some point, but that's just bound to happen. But
For sure.
it's just there's no other choice than him. Like it's like I said, the guy's just knows what's up. He's just a winner. He's 100%. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Okay. Coach Q's the man. So
Absolutely. You can't mess
yeah.
with success.
Nope.
So big shout out to our LaSalle Vipers.
Great start.
This past week, LaSalle also hosted a Windsor Spitfires preseason game.
Hmm.
Lakeshore then hosted a preseason
Yep.
game on the Saturday. So a big couple of weeks for the organization, right? The Spitfires are starting up in a little bit. We'll talk about them later, but it just seems like really good things are going on right now and in C, B, and A for that
It's
whole
a
organization. So
beautiful
it's
thing,
coming.
buddy. It's
It's
beautiful.
crispy. So
Crispy. Do
I wanted
you
to,
want to talk
yeah.
about those games at all?
I caught the end of the Lakeshore game. I know that you watched the game on Thursday.
How about
I think
Belchez right now? Are you kidding me?
oh
Are you
five
serious? Or can we talk about this kid for a second here?
yeah,
This
let's
this kid is an absolute monster. Okay. He's a complete, and I mean this in the nicest way. He's a complete mutant when he plays this guy. Okay. He's
Yeah,
huge. He throws
six
his body
five.
around. He's a sniper. This guy, like, does it all, man. He don't get me wrong, he's got a little bit of a mean streak to him too. Like
Hmm.
he's just one of those guys that he does it all. And for him to do it as a rookie at this pace, like the preseason, I think he scored in every game, no?
In 5 preseason games, he has 6 goals.
Yes. And
The,
also note too, which I'll probably bring up on the air Wednesday when we go on the air for, but last year Windsor only won one preseason game, where this year they only lost one preseason game. So, and like you and I had shot the shit on before, Windsor's looking to keep the goals against down this year. They felt last year was a little bit too high. They were getting scored on a little too much. So the focus this year, we all have a feeling, is going to be more defensive side of the puck, more our end first, keep the goals against down. We need to get in deep here in these zones, dump pucks in, hammer them. You know what I mean? Finish your
Mhm.
checks. We have a line that the smallest guy is 6'3". Get in there. You know what I mean? Get in
Yeah,
there. Hit these guys. Be physical. Stay out of the penalty box. Get to those dirty areas, man. Let's bang pucks home here. Let's go. Let's not come in. No one is coming into Windsor and getting 2 easy points. Let's put it that way. It's not going to
absolutely.
happen.
Yeah, you're right there. The one thing that I wanted to say about Belches that really stood out to me was that 2 of his 6 goals that he's got so far, shorthanded.
I
So
know.
Coach Greg Walters is putting him out on the penalty kill, and he's working, and
Yeah.
he's getting turnovers, and he's cashing in. So like the skill is there, it seems like the effort is there, the coachability seems to be there. This kid could probably score 30 this year.
I think he's gonna.
I think and that's just
Look at
because
him
I've been
right
covering
now.
this league
Nothing's gonna
for
change.
12
Yeah.
years.
Nothing's gonna change. He's
Yeah,
still going
like
to go out. He's going to do the same thing during the regular season. What he's doing right now, everybody. Oh well, it's preseason. Well, it's later in the preseason, and we're pretty well seeing everybody's rosters right now, and he's still scoring goals. So he's probably going to do the same thing during the season. I'm going to guess.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Um, why don't we just chat about just Leamington's start right now, and then we'll go right back to the Spits, and we'll do a full
Yeah.
kind of a recap before we go
Mm,
on the air
mm,
for their first
yep.
game on Wednesday, and then
Kind of
of
end
course
it
they'll
with the
have
spits.
their
Yeah.
home opener on the Saturday the
Yep.
28th. So
Absolutely.
okay, so in Junior A, the Leamington Flyers are legit, guys.
Yeah.
They are really good. They started off the year 3-0, sorry, 4-0,
Yeah.
and then they went to Collingwood and played the national champions to a double overtime loss. And it was pretty similar to their series last year. Collingwood obviously was the better team. They were the national
Mm,
champions after they defeated Leamington 4 games straight. But I
yeah.
feel like Leamington did give them a tough out if they're gonna, take anything from that series. And obviously that translated over because they gave the national defending national champs a run for their money, double OT in Collingwood. And I heard
Mm.
from what I hear, it's a pretty tough place to play. So our shout out goes to the Leamington Flyers, man. Like you guys are showing
Yeah.
out to start the regular season. Big shout out to
Yeah.
Dale Mitchell,
Holy shit, Dale Mitchell. Are you kidding me?
Matt Dumichel, someone who I
Yep.
used to work with when we were both involved with the Windsor Express. Big shout out to him. Justin
Mhm.
Souls, the GM
Yep.
there. Obviously, you guys are doing the right things, making the
Oh,
right signings, and you guys have got yourself quite the team. I'm just going to do a little bit of a recap.
yep. Do it.
Um, So before the regular season starts, they signed Colton Smith, who was an overage player that was eligible for the Windsor Spitfires. He's released. Leamington gobbles him up right quick. In the preseason, Colton had 5 goals, including 2 game-winning goals in one preseason tournament, which was 3 games.
That good?
So they win that tournament. They go there. That was before the regular season start. Colton Smith's named an assistant captain, and he's got 4 goals in their first 3 games. So and then they started off 3-0. That was their home opener, the 5-1. The next week, um, they went to Collingwood and lost that game 2-1 in double overtime. So they're
So
still undefeated in regulation, and they played the national champs.
So double
So
overtime. So how do they do that?
I believe, and I'll confirm this next
Is
week.
it
I
five
believe what
minutes?
they do 5 minutes of 4-on-4, and I believe then they do 5 minutes of 3-on-3. I will
Oh,
look
okay.
that up though.
All
So
right.
I'll clear that up because that's I believe Junior B does that as well.
And then after that, does it go to a shootout?
I think it's just a tie. I will clarify
Really?
all that, but
I know
yeah. So
Essex has it to where if they go into overtime, it's like a fucking 8 minute period or something. It's like what? Like
okay,
it's a
yeah, it's a little
really
bit more
odd
hybrid.
number. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
But anyway, man, they took a point from the defending national champs.
Fucking right.
They sign Trey Altman was released from LaSalle. He gets signed up from Leamington. Uh Great signing. They also signed Marcus Vandenberg, who's a guy who had a bunch of OHL experience, so they're
Hmm.
really set in net there. Great team. Looks like they're in front of him. Adrian Bosev, they named him his captain. He's on fire to start the
Yeah.
year. And I feel like they are going to be a problem in that conference this year. So they're going to what's called the OJHL Showcase, and they're playing a bunch of teams at like almost like tournament style, but
Yeah.
they're going there for scouts essentially. Like the
Mhm.
scouts are going to come to one area, and all these kind of these top or these better teams in the OJHL are going to be playing in that area. So a lot of these guys are going to get a bunch of eyeballs on
It's a
them.
lot of exposure.
And I think that if you're wearing the red and white and you're a Leamington Flyer right now, you are just flying high. So I can't wait to get out to a game this year
Yeah.
and check out Dale Mitchell's team because I
Yeah.
feel like they play the game the right
We're gonna
way.
have we're gonna have to get Dale back on the show here to talk because we've had him on
Mhm.
before, but that was just after he had finished playing, so he wasn't even a coach yet, I don't think.
I
So
see. Yeah, because he was playing out in Europe, right?
yes, he was.
Yeah, because like we could talk like he must have had a big influence on Gabe Piccolo too, right? When
Yeah,
we talk about like he was on that Sutherland Cup team, he was one of
yeah.
his assistant
You
captains.
want to know
Like,
who else was a big influence with Pick?
who's that?
Zach Percy was another
Zach,
one.
that's right. I did hear you guys talking about
Yeah,
Purse. Yeah, I
yeah,
love Purse.
yeah,
Good big shout out to Zach
yeah. But
Percy.
Dale's top notch, man. Dale has since he's walked in there and been a coach, he's been very successful. So it's obviously continued. He knows the formula. And to me, a guy like that is going to climb the ladder super quick. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I think and I'm sorry that I say absolutely all the time, but it's just it's what it's like, like he
Dale's gonna
100% makes it.
Dale's gonna climb the ladder quick.
Yeah, and we're hoping for that. Obviously,
Yeah.
so many guys that have ties to the Windsor Essex area are just killing it in coaching right
Oh,
now.
it's crazy.
And the one thing that I need to remember is that DMAC, Darren McCurdy, for all you guys that don't, hang out with him and interview him poolside and stuff,
Not a big deal.
he said that he was 100% down to go to a Leamington Flyers game.
Yeah.
So,
We'll
and
get
like,
him out.
yeah, and like, you know what, that if anyone deserves like to drop the puck at a Flyers game, it's this guy, man.
We'll get
So
him
I
out.
feel like we should manifest that, and
We'll
maybe I
make it
should reach out to
happen.
Matt Dumichel and see if we can make it happen later this year. Because
Yeah, we can make it happen.
for sure, because I know that they're getting really good crowds at those games too.
Well, they
My dad's
should
been to a
for that.
bunch of those games. I
Game's
haven't been to one
good.
yet, and I need to.
When
But
are
he
their
says
home
it's
games?
definitely worth. They play Thursday nights.
Okay. There you go.
Thursdays, same as the Spits most times. So
Yeah.
for the most part, I know they play like random Saturday and Sunday games there, but like
Hmm.
mostly Thursdays and like the occasional Sunday because they're
Hmm.
on the road in the OJHL. Like their closest team is in Milton that they play
Yeah.
against. So Road Warriors. Okay. So I will say this one story. The one game that they played up in Milton last year, I don't know if it was the regular season or if it was the playoffs. Their bus broke down on the way, and they had to
No.
wait for a replacement bus.
Oh.
So they had to like I think they started the game like maybe an hour late. It was something like that. And I remember because I was recording the game and I was at dinner with my family and I came back and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna, catch it. It's in the second period or something." And they had like they were still doing puck drop. They were like they're still doing the national anthems.
You're
I
like,
had rec
sweet.
Yeah, I was like, "Sweet." Like cuz Milton down there has your TV and
Hmm.
they picked it up down here that weekend. I was like, okay,
Beauty.
I'll check it out. And then they said the bus. They interviewed I forget what player it was that's told the story. Like, yeah, our bus broke down and we had to wait on the side of the
That
road. And
sucks.
No, but great group.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to watching the OJHL, man. And the whole I'm really happy for the whole like not transformation, but like the ascension, like the promotion that they have gone through, you know what I mean? Like for a while Leamington was a middle pack junior B team, right? They had some good players come through there, you know,
I'll
like
be
TJ
honest, I
Brody
was a
and
little
things like
worried
that.
when they went up to A.
Yeah, of course anyone
I
would be,
was.
right? But you know, they have that success in the junior B level and then they immediately go into junior A. You're like, like maybe you guys should slow down, but not a chance.
Flawless
They have
transition. Flawless
flawless,
transition.
like and full marks. Obviously,
Yeah.
they did their homework going into it. Like if you're a team that's going on Sutherland Cup runs, I know they had a pretty good team a couple years
Yeah.
before that too.
And then turn
And
around and do what they're doing now in A.
it's great. Fantastic. And
Crazy.
like I said, I think the effort that they showed in that series against Collingwood showed that the program's legit. Like anyone can
Oh
win,
yeah.
you know, like you get not lucky, but like you run into some good level of play and you can win a series or maybe two, right? But to get to where they were at,
Yeah.
they showed a
Make a
lot
run
of
for
grit
sure.
and grunts. So
100%.
big shout out to Leamington. Keep it up. Have fun at the showcase, and we'll
Yeah.
check back in with you guys whenever we can. Hope we can
Yeah,
get
baby.
someone from the organization because they just started this Flyers Academy thing too, and I want to just kind
We'll
of get
get
the
Dale on. We'll
specifics
get Dale on the talk.
for sure because it's a good thing for the community, right? We're
Yeah.
talking about they're bringing kids into the area and educating them and stuff, so
Mhm.
we'll let them explain it
Yeah,
whenever we
for
get them
sure.
on. So Junior A, B, C, we're all done there. Let's talk about the main event of the week, my friend.
Wednesday.
You and I are going to be very busy this week,
Yeah. That's an
to say the
understatement.
least.
That's an
And
understatement.
and nothing makes me more appreciative for summer than being in September because everything is happening all at once
Oh,
and schedules go out the wayside
yeah.
and some you know commitments you can make, some things you can't depending on which teams that you're covering. Like you're involved with the 73s, I'm involved with the
Yeah.
University of Windsor. We're working with the TV station to do you know, hosting and studio stuff for the Spitfires. So
We do
everything
everything.
is happening all at once, but I wouldn't have it any other way
Yeah.
because hockey's here, man, and
Yeah.
we're at the beginning. It's gonna be tough starting, but I feel like you know it's got to start sometime.
We're back, baby.
We are so
We're
back.
back. It's hockey season, guys. Welcome. You can smell the equipment. Smells like shit, but
Oh,
you know, whatever, you can smell it. And it's just it's hockey season. And what's the pros are in training camp. All
mhm.
the junior teams are in regular season. Like we're playing now. Just hockey's in now getting into full swing. The only
Full swing.
shitty part is it's gonna start getting cold soon. It's been kind of nice. It's been kind of nice going to hockey in my shorts and a t-shirt, but
Yeah.
it's hockey season, man. It's Wednesday, so we'll which will be my first time live.
Yes.
Like I'm, and then to make it even worse, to make me shit my pants even more, is I check the OHL schedule that night, and we're the only fucking game on in the OHL that night too. So, and we're on OHL tonight. So
Yes.
all eyes are on us on Wednesday night. So
I'm looking forward to it.
me too. It's just going to be us snapping it around. So it's going to be so for all of our viewers and listeners and followers. And so we're going to be on your TV Windsor starting at 7 p.m., correct?
Yes, and only on your TV Windsor. If you have OHL Live, you're gonna get the Saginaw
Feed.
like broadcast. Like
Yeah.
we are picking up their broadcast, but we're doing the pregame, intermissions and postgame, right?
Yeah.
If you're getting, I think whatever it is, what the streaming package that they have there, you
Yeah.
just watch what's going on there and you see like their commercials kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you want to see your boys, you got
You
to
have
get
to have
to a your
Coach go.
TV. Yeah, you got to go to a your TV member's house or get someone to record it so you can point out how many times me and Anthony stumble or forget each other's names
Me
or
trying not
things
to
like
swear
that.
on the air, that stuff like
Yes.
that. Like,
We just want
I
you to
think,
listen to a bunch of like kids song and kids programming before we go on air so you know
yes.
it's
So that way we
nuts.
sound way better when you guys come on there. No, I'm like I said, I'm like the nerves are kicking a little bit, but I think it's a good nervous. Like it's a like let's get this going, you know what I mean, type deal.
Yeah, and
Um,
anything with TV, it's kind of like do your prep, and then when the light goes on, let's just go for it,
yeah, I
kind of
think
thing. Like,
once we get through pregame, I think I'll settle in.
yeah, because once we do that, we're gonna sit and watch the game, take notes,
We're
have
just
our thoughts, snap it
analyzing
around.
what we see, pretty
Yep,
much is.
we're not doing anything more special than what people are doing at home. We're watching the game, but we're there to form opinions and take you guys in and out of breaks and intermissions and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
hopefully be entertaining and hope you guys learn something and take something away, and
See what happens.
we'll see what happens.
It's going to be
Absolutely.
interesting, I'll tell you that. Yeah, but so everybody look for that. So that's once again, that's Wednesday night starting at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Your TV Windsor. So we'll be on pregame. We'll be, how long you think we'll be on pregame for?
Well, that depends
Pregame's going to
because
be relatively short because we're going to be cutting over to the ceremony over in Saginaw, right?
yeah, so we'll probably open up the show. We'll, just recap a little bit about, new head
Preseason and
coach,
stuff. Yeah.
new couple players. Let's look at our matchups for tonight and let's send it down to Saginaw for their Memorial Cup banner raising ceremony kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll go straight from there. If they need to come back to us before puck drop, we'll probably stay in studio and maybe give you a minute or two of analysis before they start the puck. And basically, I'll say when it's ready for them to start playing, I'll say, okay, time for the puck drop.
Yeah.
First period action on the OHL tonight is underway. We'll see you at the intermission.
And then we'll be chilling.
And then we'll be chilling.
Yeah.
So let me inform you and of course our viewers about just the off season that the Windsor Spitfires had. I want to try and just catch everybody up on what they've been doing. I know we're over an hour right now, but I feel like for our folks that, on the show that are maybe new to the Spits or they haven't been able to keep an eye on what's going on, I'm going to break it down for you guys all
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit it.
So Spits had a rough year. They gave up 360 goals in the regular season. Okay. And they got the number one overall pick. You know what that means? They finished right near the bottom and in the lottery, they got the number one pick. They pick Ethan Belches, number one, first overall pick, 6'5" player, fantastic. What can you say? You can't go wrong if you got the number one overall pick, right? You get the pick. You get to
Mhm.
pick anyone you want. You get to pick the best player. They got that. I think it's easy to say that this kid's going to be really successful in this league, and it just kind of just depends on how much,
Yeah.
right? I feel like, regular rookies are, they can score between 15, 20, 25 goals. I think he's going to be able to match that and maybe surpass it
Mhm.
because a lot of people are giving him the Eric Lindros kind of comparison.
Yeah.
That's tough. I don't know if anyone can play like Eric Lindros besides Eric Lindros,
Big
but
shoes
that's
to
what we're
fill.
hearing. Like he's a big body, 6'5" kid. Like he's going to be able to he's going to put butts in the seats, put it that way.
Love it.
So I just want to talk about that. We did draft a group of other players. JC Lemieux, number 22, Carter Hicks, a defenseman, number 24. He's the only rookie defenseman on the team. So we'll see if he makes final roster, ends up in LaSalle. It's probably going to depend on the numbers game because you
Mhm.
can only have four rookies on the roster at one time.
Oh
Okay.
wow. Okay. Yeah.
So, and they've got five that went to camp and performed rather well. So those were Belches, J.C. Lemieux, his name is Jean Christophe, Michael Brocklehurst. He's from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. He played out in New Hampshire, sorry, but he's Canadian.
Mhm.
Ethan Garden, who contributed quite a bit in those preseason games, and Carter Hicks, so that D-man I talked about. So one of them, and of course you got Jake Winbeal, who is the goaltender. So that's six guys, right? So I think Winbeal is going to end up in LaSalle. We're still waiting to hear final words there,
Mhm.
but you're going to see him in some games this year for the Windsor Spitfires based on injuries and illness and people going away for certain things and different showcases and stuff. So I think you will see him in a jersey for the Spits this year. But that's an interesting kind of problem to have. You got six rookies that could earn that are worth putting in the lineup, but you can only have four at one time. So just so people know, lots of youth on that team, but we've got some really high end talent kind of
Mhm.
with not kind of like with our remaining players, right? We're
Yeah.
going to have some role players in there too, like guys like Nathan Games from LaSalle is going to be on that team. Provide some grit on the third and fourth line, maybe even second line minutes depending on the matchup. But I'm happy for those kids
Hmm.
for getting that. So before I get going into the roster, sorry, I want to continue to just recap a little bit. U18 draft. They took three players. They took Michael Newlove, who's a goalie. His rights are with OJHL's Georgetown Raiders. And then they have Noah Caswell and Matteo Velarde. Both those guys are going to play for the Vipers. They played in camp for the Spits, but they're going to play for the Vipers this year.
Hmm.
They might get some time. Who knows? But those guys are in the system, and things that you might see next year. New Love, you might see a couple games this year. He's only 17. He's going to play a lot in the OJHL. You might see him if there's an injury or an illness or something like that.
Hmm.
It'll either be him or Winbiel that will be backing up there.
Yeah.
So four goalies that are worth keeping on your roster, but you can only have two at one time and one as an emergency. So after the U18 draft, and then after the OHL draft, we had the CHL import draft, and we had the number 3 overall pick. And with that, we took Ilya Protes. He's a left winger from Belarus. His brother plays for the Washington Capitals. He's 6'5", 200 pounds, and he was a third round pick by the Capitals this year. So he got drafted. He's from Belarus, so players from Russia and Belarus weren't able to be imported in the past, for the last couple of years, based on the
Hmm.
Ukrainian-Russian war. And this year he was eligible to be in that draft, and the Spitfires picked him up, and he scored a hat trick in his first preseason game.
Sweet.
So he's going to be really good.
I like
Um,
that.
a lot of just even if you just look at Belches and Protis being added to that team, it's 40, maybe 50 goals
Yeah, for
added to your
sure.
lineup.
Yeah.
And that's kind of being conservative, because who knows, this protest could just go off and
Hmm.
just start lightening it up and have 50 himself. Like he has that skill set, but who
Yeah.
knows? Like anyone can go crazy in the air. But it's going to be really interesting to see how they manage kind of all this firepower. Um, they had 7 guys go to NHL development camps. So Liam Greentree, who got drafted in the first round by the
Oh.
LA Kings, AJ Spelzy, who was drafted in the third round by the Chicago Blackhawks, um, Cole Davis, LA Kings, Protest, Washington, went to development camp. Taneas Matherin was a guy that they traded for amongst the OHL draft and the CHL import draft and stuff. He is a big piece because he's an overage defenseman who was drafted by the Red Wings. The Red Wings don't have his rights anymore. He was drafted 137th overall a couple of years ago, but he went to Chicago Blackhawks development camp there. So that's a guy who might have a shot at an NHL roster in a couple of years. That's on your blue line this year as an overager. That's huge.
Hmm.
So big piece picked up there. You've got Jack Nesbitt is coming into his third year. He needs to break out and play some big minutes. Overagers, you got Ryan Abraham, who had 31 goals last year. Noah Morneau, great character guy, fourth line, third line, second line center. Do whatever you want him to do. Overager, great skater. He's going to help you in a lot of different ways. Penalty kill. He's going to see some power play time. He's a really good face-off man too, so I'm really happy. I think he's going to play a big role for the Spits this year. We might have an assistant captain,
Hmm.
A on his jersey. We'll see. Who
Yeah.
knows? Um, Anthony Cristofaro went to Ottawa development camp, and Connor Walton went to Columbus Blue Jackets camp. So a lot of guys on this team who have been coached up by NHL squads in the past couple of weeks. I feel like that's going to have a big impact
Yeah.
on how they develop this year. For goalies, we'll get through this, and I'll just want to and then we'll preview Wednesday's game. So our starting goaltender is going to be Joey Costanzo this year. So Joey has had 96 career games played in the OHL. He's 41, 39, 2 and 3. And that's basically the product of an unfortunate, defensive situation last year. A lot of first year players In his first year with the team, Windsor Spitfires, they traded for him from Niagara. His first year, he went 26, 6 and 2, and then
That
his
good?
second year, he went 10, 23, 2 and 1. Right.
Jesus.
So you tell me what the difference is.
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus.
So for a career, he's a 4.2 goals against average. I feel like he's going to have some, he's going to have some big games this year
Yeah.
as a good player and have a big year for the Spits.
Mhm.
Most likely, the backup's going to be Carter Froggatt. He was a sixth round pick in 2022. He deserves the shot. He's a big body. He's going to play in the net for the Windsor Spitfires, and he's going to be primarily the
Mhm.
backup. He only got into 2 games last year. He did give up 8 goals in about 85 minutes of playing time, but you know what? He's a big body. He's ready to be playing in the OHL on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
He's played with the London Nationals he played with them last year. He did very well, and now it's time for him to come up to the O.
Time to make
Um,
that jump.
yeah, exactly. Winbeal was the guy who we took in the 124th overall pick this year. He's 6'4", 223 pounds. So he's 16 is the biggest goaltender we have in the system.
Jesus.
So this guy is gonna, he signed an education deal. He played in the preseason, but in my opinion, he's gonna spend most of his time in LaSalle this year,
Yeah.
in the GOJHL, and he's gonna get a bunch of ice time. They've got Dante Bertolin in net for LaSalle too, but I feel like he's gonna get developed
Hmm.
in LaSalle, and he'll be a full-time OHLer next year, I think.
For sure.
Um, we talked about Michael Newlove earlier. He was the number one pick. He was the number one pick in that U18 draft, and they took him first overall. They signed him to an OHL development deal, but they reassigned him to the Georgetown OJHL Raiders. So he's going to be playing against the Leamington Flyers this year. Before in that camp and everything started, Trey Altman, they released him to go to Leamington. They signed him up real quick, and Dante Bertolin, who's another guy who was in the system, went to training camp for the Spits, but he was reassigned to LaSalle.
Yeah.
So that's our team.
Whew.
So there's a lot of guys that you're going to see some shuffling on a weekly basis based on who's in and who's out, who's on the roster and is a scratch, or who's hurt and is getting called up from junior B. So it's going to be our job to kind of, direct that traffic, but it's a fun part of the job. So
Yep.
big week for the Spits. They play the Saginaw Spirit, the defending Memorial Cup
What's the odds
champions.
you open up the
And
opening night of the OHL season and you're the only game in the OHL and you have to face the Memorial Cup champions? So
yeah, tough
this is you
task.
know what though? This is a big test early. And
Yes.
I look forward to seeing it because I want to see because Windsor's a little bit of more younger squad, shall we say. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to see now, correct me if I'm wrong, is Saginaw more of kind of a veteran team?
Well, they loaded up last year.
Veteran-ish?
Yeah, they loaded up last year because they were hosting the Memorial Cup. So
Yes,
they
of
got a lot of
course.
guys that,
Every
they got
team does
Josh
that.
Bloom back from the
Yeah.
NHL and things like that.
He was the
So
one that scored the winner, right?
that's right.
Okay. So yeah,
Um,
but yeah, it's gonna be a nice test. The thing is though, is I hate to sound kind of cliche, shall I say, but they just have
mhm.
to keep it simple. If they keep it
Honestly,
simple, finish your hits, stay out of the box, you know what I mean? Shots from everywhere, traffic out front of the net. Like I said, I know it's gonna sound cliche, but I find that one, the more you shoot, the more you're gonna score. Two, if you get traffic out front, put those big boys out front of the net, man, and rip it from everywhere. From
hmm
everywhere. Because guess what? You can't stop what you can't see. You know what
for
I
sure.
mean? So, like, I think if they just do that, keep it simple, have a RN first mentality, like, I think they can really give Saginaw a run for their money. And it's a good early test. So, I'm
For
looking forward to
sure. What I was gonna say is that I think that these two teams are gonna be the top two in the division, and
it.
it's
Mhm.
gonna be a battle between them all year to see who gets that second or even potentially the first slot
Do
in
you
the
think Windsor goes
conference.
that high?
I don't think that they'll be able to do the number one, but I think they're going to be able to push Saginaw in the standings to be like number two in that division, and maybe
Mhm.
get the third or maybe even the fourth playoff spot.
Yeah.
Get home court advantage, home ice advantage for
You cover too
the
many
first round of
sports,
the playoffs.
buddy.
If I was, if I, and pardon me, I forgot to add. They signed new head coach Greg Walters.
Yeah.
He had been serving a suspension due to a confrontation he had with an assistant coach
Yeah.
earlier in
Whatever.
the year. So he was
Yeah.
gone for a majority of the year. The league reinstates him. The first person that calls him is Bill Bowler. They make a deal right away, and 2 days later, he's at a press conference as the Windsor
Boom.
Spitfires head coach. A couple years in Oshawa, a couple years in Owen Sound. Spent a lot of time in the OJHL, 9 years in the OJHL.
Yeah.
This guy knows how to coach,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah. He
coaches
knows what's up.
defensively. He coaches breakouts. And the one thing that I really took away from all of the media and stuff that he did that I took in and read and listened to and stuff is that to limit he wants to fix things defensively first. He
Yeah.
wants to, they went down from, yeah, they gave up 360 goals last year. He said he wants to
Jesus.
cut that down by 100.
Wow.
So I did the math, right? Windsor 360 goals, 360 goals against. That's over five a game, right?
Jesus.
And if he cuts it down by 100, that would get it down to like 3.8. So
It's
I
pretty
would
good.
say that he's probably his goal is probably to cut it down even more
Well,
than
yeah, but
that.
you gotta set a more realistic
For sure,
goal
yeah. By
too.
saying, "Hey, let's
And
let's let's get it down by 100.
yeah,
Let's do it."
he's looking to start into a walk before you get into a run, obviously, but
Yep.
he's but what's the first thing you do when you give up 360 goals and you hire a new coach? You hire a coach that is a defensive coach,
Yep.
is what you do. And by bringing this guy, I don't give a shit what happened in the past. Okay, I don't care
Yeah.
if you're bringing in the right man for the job, and that is to shave goals down on this team to get it to where we're not giving up almost 400 goals in a season, which is insane, by the way. And like, but if he can chop it down to that and even like a little bit less, man, like hell yeah, because Windsor needs a good hockey team.
Yeah.
And I feel that we're on the way up. Like,
For
I don't
sure.
want it to be like us try to like get there real super quick. Like, let's just keep this slow and steady pace going up and just keep building up the way we're supposed to and build that foundation and do everything like this. Let's work on our power play. Let's work on our defense. And then we just put everything together and then it's boom, baby. Like, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's gonna happen. And I think it's gonna happen sooner than later. This, like we said, this coach really seems to know what he's doing. So I'm gonna say in 2 to 3 years we're making like runs.
Yeah.
So
What I was going to say is that we were so close in 21 and 22 with those caliber teams that we had. Wyatt
yeah,
Johnson the one year, and we
yeah,
had Matt
man,
Maggio the next year.
yeah,
First overall in the Western Conference in both those seasons. You have a disappointing playoff run. The second
yeah,
season, after you gamble, you put all your chips in the pot to get Shane Wright. It doesn't work out, and then the next year you're suffering because you don't have as much talent
yep,
in the cupboards to rely on, right? And then Bill Bowler had to work his way back up to where he could replenish those draft picks and keep the team, make some solid moves that would
yeah.
keep the team competitive. It was a rough first half of the year, but I
Oh,
think Casey Torres did a great job of
mm,
keeping their heads above water
yeah,
and keeping it from being blowouts throughout the year. And I feel like he gained a lot of respect, and I feel
I
like the players got a lot of really hard reps. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you're learning by fire. Like all those
yeah,
rookies, like AJ Spellecy, I feel like he probably developed the most in that system because he was on the ice all the time. And
mhm,
I feel like he developed and got to that third round pick status because he was on the ice all the time
yeah.
and he developed and he killed penalties and he broke out and he made it was just fantastic. So
Sometimes you just gotta play through that darkness and just keep playing and pushing
grind.
through it, and that's all you can do, man.
Hmm.
Like, there's nothing else you can do but just play through it. Like, it's I have no really other advice I would be able to tell somebody. Like, what's the first thing you do when you're younger and you're playing a game and this is happening? What does your dad tell you? Well, you would just play through it.
Play through it, buddy.
And
Exactly it.
as crazy as it sounds, it's like that at all levels, man. It's just too, just depending on where you play is your extent of it, shall we say. But it's man, I'm looking forward to this Windsor team. Like,
I
I'm
think it's going
really
to be a
looking
lot of
forward
fun.
to it.
Like I said, I think that they're going to be I think they're gonna push Saginaw. I don't know if they're gonna be able to like eclipse them. Obviously, things are crazy and happen, but I just feel like Saginaw's got the team right now. Michael Miza is a
Oh,
great player, and he hits his draft here. He's gonna be on full display for the league. He's gonna be hard to handle if you're the Windsor Spitfires. Um, and like you said, I think it's going to be a great test.
is
My prediction is that Windsor's going to be a top four team in the Western
yeah.
Conference, but I feel like they're going to maybe sit at like the four spot, which isn't a bad spot,
No, not at all.
but they're gonna end up
Is
there, and I feel like that's an amazing jump from where they were
yeah.
to what they're going to be.
Is it bad if I say like, or does it sound bad if I say like, there's there's no really like expectation, like just go
I
out and
mean, I
play, just go out and play. Like, of course
yeah,
there is to a certain extent. Okay, I get it. It's the
yeah,
OHL. I get it.
yeah,
Okay, but like you're gonna make the playoffs this year. That's quite evident. It's gonna happen. You know
yeah.
what I
10 teams in the
mean?
conference,
So
top eight make
to
it. Yeah,
me, some of the moves that Buller made, like the really like the way he drafted, some of the trades he made to get picks and like
smart.
stuff like that. Like I hate to say it, but to me, I think he saved his job, man.
Well, yeah, like it
I
was a
as
tough
much as I
spot that
say,
he was
Billy,
in.
I love you, Billy. I love you. But I just think that that some of the moves he made, he saved himself. Because let's face it, if a coach gets canned and things still aren't working out, who's the next guy to go? It's
The man
always the
who
general manager,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. He's the guy
Always.
that buys the ingredients, right?
And to me, like I said, and I don't want Bill to go anywhere. I think Bill's where he should be. Bill's an excellent GM. I think
Yeah.
he's the right guy for the Spits. He breathes the organization. He eats. He sleeps it. And not to mention, he's a well-respected alumni there too, as well.
Yeah.
So
One of the best players to ever put on a
yeah,
jersey.
one exactly. So, but I just think that, like I said, he really saved himself. He did a grade A job on flicking this thing back into to where we're gonna do some damage. Like we're not, you're not gonna come into Windsor and get 2 easy points. Let's put it that. Like
For sure.
not
And I
gonna
and I
happen.
think and I think that after the disappointing end of 22, he knew that they were going to be up against it, right?
Yeah,
It's just talent on the board, right? You need to get it back. And so he had to make some trades
yeah.
right
He had
away.
a lot went into that right deal.
Yeah, and he had to make some trades as soon as like the season ended to, trade away those overage players, the guys
Mhm.
that were going to be overage players that
Yeah,
you have to deal, otherwise you're going to have to cut them,
yeah,
right? He got some picks back for that, but
yeah,
it left them bare on the back end, and they got scored on a
yeah.
lot. But those defensemen, I'm going to bring them up all right now because
Mm.
they're all on the team last year.
And we're not chitting on you, Bill. We're just saying
No,
that you did an amazing job on the rebound of this,
oh,
is what
we're
I'm
we're
saying.
we're very proud, right? He
Yeah,
could have gone,
unreal job
what
on the rebound.
for sure. Christofaro,
Yeah,
Connor Walton, Carson Woodall, shout out Woody's hoodies,
yeah.
Joe Eichler, and Tanner Weingard. Like those
Speaking of him,
five
we got to get
guys,
him on the show.
yeah, for sure. Like those five guys had to drink water out of a fire hose last year.
Yep.
They had to, they had to get better quick. Otherwise, it was going to get ugly,
I
right? And
expect
there was a,
I
yeah,
expect Woodall to have a good year this year
me
too.
too. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to bring up this group because they're gonna be solid. I think Carson Whittle's gonna have a good year.
Hmm.
And I think that whole defensive unit's gonna be better. I don't know who's gonna be, like the odd man out because there's Michael Levine, Evan Holt, Adrian Manzo, and then there's Carter Hicks as the rookie, right? So are they gonna go seven defensemen some nights? Are they gonna go with six and some guys are gonna scratch? That's just how the cookie's
Maybe
gonna
they'll
crumble, and that's
rotate it or something.
yeah, because those guys, they're all
Mm.
deserve it. I don't know. They're all capable of
Yeah,
handling
100,
OHL minutes, but it
100%.
just depends on who's going to get the call on a certain night. But when you look at this group, we've got
Yeah.
Matherin, Cristofaro, Walton, Woodle, Eichler, Weingard, Levine, Hellholt, Manzo, and Hicks. So we got 4, 7, got 10 defensemen that could, you know, battle for ice time, and some of those guys are going to be black aces on any given night, or they're going to be down in another level. So
Yeah.
hopefully, looking forward to seeing how that cookie crumbles there, how it all
Yep.
develops and stuff. I just want to go on just talk about the forwards, this forward group, just the guys that I didn't mention earlier because they're kind of like on the bubble, guys that might get sent up and down based on the year, and
Yep.
then we'll get you to bed, Ant.
Yeah.
Um, Nathan Games is a guy that I heard his name the most. He was a guy that developed with the LaSalle Vipers. They signed him to an OHL development deal.
Love it.
He wants to play physical. He wants to get in there and forecheck and rough it up. He wants to fight and he
My kind
wants
of
to,
guy.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like this guy's gonna get the HTH approval
Yeah.
and he's gonna get called a beaut and a beauty
Send that
on the
guy a t-shirt.
broadcast. Yeah, and I feel like he's got the most, not to prove, but like he's probably gonna get the most ice out of those guys that are gonna be
Mm.
in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
So we've got Nathan Games, Alex Stewart, Jack Greenwell, Owen Outwater, Ethan Martin, and Kyler Morgan. Those were those guys that were in the preseason roster, getting some time and showing their stuff, especially with the rookies that we have that they want to get ice time for. It's going to be hard for those guys to stay in the
Mm.
lineup. So I'm not sure which one of them is going to be, sent down or what the final numbers are going to be. But we'll talk about that on the TV side, and obviously we'll catch
Yeah.
up with you
We're
guys on
battling
the
for spots here. We're battling for spots.
and then a couple well last year it's almost like who we're gonna
I could have played there
hey
last
like
year for
yeah
fuck's
like
sakes.
we're well I guess we'll put this guy in there, and
Yeah.
it's not to say anything about the player, but it's like compared to what the other
Let me
opposing
tell
teams
you, this
were throwing
year or
at you, it was tough.
last year going into this year, just compared, just even just training camp, it's night and day. Like it's
Yes.
the team's completely different, man. So
Yeah.
I look
Bill
forward to seeing.
Bowler flipped it around.
Yeah.
Greg Walters. I don't know the word like something to prove. I don't think that's there, but I feel like he's ready to produce a winner, and I feel
Now,
like he's kind of hungry for it.
do you have any sort of prediction for Wednesday night?
Um, I
Any type of game that you're looking for? Any type of
I'm
anybody you're
hoping
looking at? Like who is there
I'm
anybody you're watching?
all eyes are on Ethan Belches, man. I'm
Yeah.
looking at him. He's probably
Yeah.
going to be your first line center to start the game, and he's probably going to play alongside Liam Greentree.
Okay. Yeah, I could
So
see that.
yeah, and I feel like
Two
Liam
big
Greentree is
boys.
going to snipe all season long.
Well, playing on a line with Green Tree, you're gonna get looks. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. And Protaz or Protus, sorry, I'll get that pronunciation down. I
Figure it
feel
out.
like yeah, he's gonna be very successful too. I
Mhm.
feel like I don't want to like preordain this group, but it looks a lot like the group that the Windsor Spitfires had before they started winning Memorial Cups back to back.
Yeah.
It looks like that to me. And you got the number one pick, the shiny brand new player, Ethan Belchez, that NHL guys are already drooling over. And I feel like that's going to be the catalyst to a
Mhm.
championship caliber team. And it starts in the middle with that guy. Obviously, Liam Greentree, as the captain, he's going to have to do a lot of work and lead
Yeah.
this team the right way and get them playing the right way and motivating them and stuff. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
I
It's going
want
to
to
be a lot
see
of fun watching this
Belchez
team.
just hammer guys.
I would
Just
like to see,
hammer. Like I want to see
yeah,
him be physical. Like I want to see him get in there, show your teeth in the corner, and go in there just 100 miles an hour and just like a crossbody in wrestling, just like take
yep,
everybody out. I'm telling you, this guy, like I can't. I want to go watch him live. I haven't even got to see him live yet. So
yeah.
we're definitely gonna hit up some games
Absolutely. Yeah. So once again, that's season opener for the Windsor Spitfires. They're
Wednesday night.
playing on the road against the Memorial Cup champions, the Saginaw Spirit. That's at 7 o'clock. Anthony, myself, and Tristan will be on the air with your TV Windsor.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you are so interested, their home opener is on Saturday, September 28th
Yeah.
at 7 o'clock against the Kitchener Rangers. So,
Ooh.
big game. Kitchener is always good. Mike Mc, yeah, Mike McKenzie is his name. That's Bob McKenzie's son. He runs a great program there
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
Kitchener, and looking forward to that. So if you see us at the rink, come say hi.
Yeah.
If we're out and about, come say hi. Tell us what you like, what you don't like,
Yeah.
And we can respectfully disagree on certain things too. If there's certain
We'll
topics you want to
shed
chat
them if
about.
you want, whatever. It's just all
Yeah, like
good.
no one's here. No one's here to get their feelings hurt. We're just
Want
here
me
to
to
have some fun talking
you want me to
hockey.
pull the Weldon glasses down? Pull them down. Okay. Try me. I'm just I'm just joking. But seriously though, guys, when you see us, come say hi.
Yeah, come check it out.
Whether we're
We
at
love to talk to
73's
fans.
games, Spitz games, wherever. If you see us, come say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever we're at, we're open to meeting up with the fans.
Absolutely.
Anthony, Tony, Toolbox. Is there
Oh,
anything else you
boy.
have to add?
I think we pretty well covered her, bro. That's like an hour and a half epi, I think.
I think so. So if there's anything that we missed, make sure to give us a shout. Send us an email on hattrickhockey.com. Of course, hey, if you're a sponsor, if you want some advertising on the show, make sure to give us a shout
Hit
at
us up.
hattrickhockey at gmail.com. We're always
Patrick
looking
Hockey
forward.
Podcast at gmail.com if you want to hit us up.
Figure it out, kid. The
Figure it
Hattrick
out.
Hockey
Dash one.
Podcast. What kind of host am I?
Dash one.
Like, dash one, just like I was last week. We're not going to talk about that though.
Okay. So before we get it, so
Oh
before
no.
you fuck you brought it up now. You're getting it. So this guy right here, Brett, before we go off the air, we'll leave you guys a little comedy here. So this guy here, I'm on face-offs and I'm snapping this
No.
guy clean draws. Okay. Snapping this guy clean draws. What happened on two of those, Brett?
I dumped it into the corner inadvertently.
Yeah, one he
I
tried to
was
shoot it on net, he shot it in the corner.
yeah, I let's just say I got to the rink a couple minutes late. I'm scrambling, I'm getting out there. Like first or second shift, I'm out there and Ant's like, I'm gonna draw it right back to you. And I'm like, yeah, just like last
Yeah.
year, I'm just gonna, snap it on net. Ant's gonna get the rebound and we're gonna score. I'm like, sweet, perfect, great. Wins it right back to me. I step into it in the slot and I go to release it, and it 100% went on a 45-degree angle right into the corner. And I don't think I've ever been
Yeah.
so embarrassed in my goddamn life.
And just so you know, the other one, he gave up for a breakaway. So
I
just
did. I
saying.
fanned on it and I gave it up for a breakaway, and I'm pretty
I had
sure
to.
Charlie scored.
Yeah. And
So
we would have had an episode sooner, but Brett fell asleep. So we're just throwing that out there too. Okay.
-2.
Brett's getting his eyes welded shut here later in the episode. But we love Brett, so it's okay.
Yes, appreciate you
I guess. I
taking me
guess.
with all my thorns.
I guess.
I'll get my skate sharpened this time, and I'll actually tape my stick, and we'll see if that helps.
Well, never know.
You never
Can't,
know.
hey, it's only up from here, buddy.
That's exactly right. All right, from all of us at the Hattrick Hockey Podcast, make sure to follow us on our social media channels: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
Smash them.
TikTok. We're always involved there. Give us a shout, and if you're at a game, come find us. We're going to be on the air. We hope to see you guys there. Thanks for following us, and from all of us at Hattrick Hockey, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Hat Trick Hockey Podcast. Good night, folks.
I've lost my fight.